Removing and installing chains. Goals: be able to remove, measure, and replace a bicycle chain. Tools needed: chain breaker, master link pliers, chain measuring tool, channel locks. Parts to identify: pin, inner plate, and outer plate. Step 1. Identifying your chain. Start by identifying which kind of chain you have. There are two main sizes of a chain: 1/8 inch and 3/32 inch. This measurement refers to the width of the tooth on the chain ring, not the actual measurement of the chain. 1/8 chain cannot be used with derailleur, while 3/32 inch chain can. In addition to those two sizes, there are differences between 5-speed, 6, 7, 8 speed, 9 speed, 10 speed, and now 11 speed chains. Make sure the chain you have will work with your drive chain. Step 2. Measure your chain for wear. If you have a chain measuring tool, use that to determine if your chain is worn out. If you don't have a chain measuring tool, use a ruler. There should be 1/2 inch between each pin. So if you have lined up the beginning of the ruler with the center of a pin, the center of the 24th pin down should line up with exactly the 12 inches mark if the chain is new. If it is off by more than 1/16 of an inch, then your chain is worn out. It may affect the shifting on your bicycle, or worse, skip over teeth on the cogs or chain ring when you pedal. A stretched chain will eventually wear cogs and chain rings out, and those will need to be replaced as well. If you can replace your chain before it wears out too much, you may be able to reuse your cogs and chain rings. Step 3. Removing a master link. There are several ways to remove a chain. First, identify if you have master link in your chain. If your chain is dirty, it may be hard to identify. So clean your chain and look closely. On a 3/32 inch chain, you should be able to remove the master link without any tool. Start by squeezing the center of the master link and then push the plates apart with your fingers. If you have trouble, use the plier to push the plates apart. There are special pliers made for master link, but channel lock works as well. For 1/8 inch chain, use a flathead screwdriver to pop the outer plates off, and you should be able to easily pull the link apart with your fingers. Step 4. Push a pin out. If you don't have a master link in your chain, you can remove the chain by pushing out a pin. To do this, use a chain tool. Place the pin you want to push on the first shelf of the chain tool, and turn the handle until the tool lines up with the pin. Make sure the chain is sitting straight and evenly in the tool. Continue turning the handle as it pushes the pin out. Don't push the pin all the way, otherwise you won't be able to get it back together. Once the pin is most of the way out of the chain, pry the chain side to side until it pops apart. The exception to this rule is if you are working on a Shimano or Campagnolo chain. they will require a special pin to put back together. So you will need to push the pin all the way out. Step 5. Thread the new chain. After cleaning your old chain or finding a replacement chain, it's time to put it back together. To thread your chain through the rear derailleur, drop it down in the front of the lower pulley wheel, then under and around the upper pulley wheel, then behind the smallest cog on the freewheel or cassette, and then around the cassette through the front derailleur, and then down around the chain ring. The easiest way to figure out chain length is to make sure that the chain is on the smallest cog in the back and the smallest ring on the front. Connect the chain together at the bottom. Make sure it is as long as it can be without sagging or rubbing on the rear derailleur. Step 6. Connect the link. To reconnect the chain, you can install the master link by hand. If you are pushing the pin back through, line it up in the chain tool with the pin facing toward the handle. Simply push the pin back until it is even on both sides. If the new link is a little stiff, try to flex it on side to side using your hands. If it doesn't work, some chain tools have a second shelf where you can apply a small amount of pressure to the pin without pushing it out. Apply just enough pressure to loosen the link.